Superheroes speak. A comic book dream. Their legends are born and stories redeem. With Dejan and Dark Dawn, who will we cast? A podcast that's here to make the past last.
Welcome to Superheroes Speak. I'm your host, Dave.
And John, I'm back.
And Don.
All right. That was weird. My computer went weird. I don't know what is going on with this. I just need to get a new one because I clicked to go live and it just hesitates. But when we're live, it's been fine. It's just playing videos and overlays right now.
You got to go into Task Manager and shut down everything that isn't your browser and whatever else you need just for the show.
This is a Mac. There's no Task Manager. Oh. There is, but it's not as easy to get to.
Okay, first you need to get a Windows machine.
No, that's not going to happen.
Actually,
okay.
Sorry. Actually, that's it's not good because Microsoft has come up with something that's even worse than any Mac could ever come up with. So,
well, that's true too. Did you? I don't want to get too nerdy. Did you see 10? They're ending to force everyone onto 11. It's one of the shortest life cycles for an OS. So,
but recall is now mandatory. Recall is this thing that records everything you do. And I was just watching a podcast where the lawyers can no longer use Microsoft Office because the learning algorithm could possibly inject stuff from one case that they're working on in one Word document into another case that they're working in a different Word document. And they could lose their law license if that happens.
Oh, isn't that wonderful?
No, it's not. There's no way to turn it off. They won't let you turn it off. Hi, Don. How you doing?
Hey, yeah, no. I mean, no. First of all, you guys slipped me back in it. Hello, I'm back. Hey, I'm a PC era for a little bit there. So, the early 2000s want their electronic tribal war back. But yeah, otherwise, doing pretty good. No D&D / Star Wars group this week, but yes, it was a pretty chill week, which I appreciate. But here we are tonight. We're duking it out with the NFL, the Buffalo Bills versus the Kansas City refs. I mean, Chiefs.
Is that what's been happening with our is that why for the last couple of episodes that we've been up against the NFL? Is that what's been happening?
Well, pretty much.
Yeah, well, that's part of it.
Because I haven't been here, so.
Kassan is here watching, and he says, "Glad to see you back, John."
I know. I was just going to try to. I'm having technical difficulties here, but yes, hi, Kassan. I'm back.
Dave, how about you? Other than your computer woes,
I'm doing good. It's been a busy week for me, kind of. First off, I wanted to announce to everyone they should keep an eye out on this channel, and I'm going to put it on the website too. It's also on our social medias, but mainly here we have a new playlist called Comic Reviews, and there are currently 2 up. I did The Ballad of Nod by James Burton, our good friend of the show, and Don, you did one for what was it, Ultimate Wolverine #1. So,
sir.
Yeah. And you put yours up on Friday night, which I was thinking, oh, that's the death knell. And all of a sudden it had almost 800 views, and I'm like, okay then. I guess people like Wolverine.
Listen. Well, exactly. That's just to say it had a hashtag Wolverine, which, I know I've acknowledged Spider-Man being tops Marvel for quite some times, but or 1B, as they say, would definitely be Mr. Wolverine there. And so I think that's most of it.
Okay. And so yeah, check that out. We're going to try to put up 2 a week going forward. I think we'll kind of try to stick with I'm gonna do Wednesdays with comics that we get sent by people that have been on the show, friends of ours, and whatnot. And then Friday we'll try to stick with Don dropping something that's popular. He's gonna be popular. And you saw Wicked, you know the song.
I know now. I have it
Honestly,
in my head. Thank you
Dave,
very much.
you know what? No, I'm not going to ruin it. Absolutely, yes. I've seen it so many times. Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
He said Wolverine. Does he belong?
Oh,
No, but we'll be talking about Suicide Squad in a minute. So yeah, and then I finished 2 pieces of art that I put it on my social media. And one is a painting. I forgot to upload them so I could share them on the show tonight. But one is a painting of a forest, and it took a long time to do the forest because it's multi-layer and it's fall, so it's all different colors of the trees. And then I was following a video for that and got to a certain point and I stopped. And what I did is then I added this. You guys will appreciate this. I added a knight where it's the back of him, so he's got a big long red cloak on. You just see the back of his helmet, and he's holding a sword. And way off in the distance in the sky is a dragon. So, yeah, that was one painting that I did. The other one is I just did been experimenting with different things, and I did a charcoal. I have a couple charcoal pencils. I did a charcoal of my girlfriend's dog, and then colored some of it with pastels, and came out really good. So I was shocked. I will admit it was also me doing an experiment with using my iPad as a light box to trace the image. But yeah, and I gave it to her, so because it's her dog. So yeah, that's
how interested are you in like doing stuff like that, but like electronically, like on an iPad with like one of the various apparatus that you can buy to mimic doing art, but doing it
One of my
digitally.
nephews has, one of my nephews has one of those artist pads. I bought it from, it was a Cintill or something like that. Cost like $600 or $700 though at the time, and that's a cheap one compared to what they can be really.
Yeah, well,
they hook up to your Mac or whatever, and
my son does a lot of digital art, and he has a pad that connects to his computer, and it's like he can also use it as a second monitor, which is funny. But yeah, so it kind of looks like an iPad or something, but that's what it's for, and it's got software that comes with it. It's just like Adobe or GIMP, where you can do layers and do all this stuff.
Cintiq.
And then
Cintiq is the one that my nephew has.
And then last year I got him an iPad Air, like the newest one, and the Apple Pencil, and like he's like, this is just as good as the thing that connects to the computer. I don't remember what it's called. So he uses that a lot now. I don't know. I mean, I do a lot of that stuff when I do the artwork for the shows and whatnot. I don't do any drawing. I find artwork and put it together, in GIMP is what I use. But I like, when it comes to creating, I like the tactile feel of paper and paint and that kind of stuff.
You don't just type up a prompt and let AI do it?
No, that's not art. Yeah. Oh, the other exciting thing is we went to this is a local thing. I'm sure John is aware of this. For Christmas, I got my mom tickets to go up to the Turkey Hill Experience. It's right outside of Lancaster.
Turkey Hill Experience.
Turkey Hill is the ice cream company. So basically, they have this like place that you go. I think it used to be their offices, and they've moved those. They're still in Pennsylvania, but they moved them more south in PA. But you go, and there's like a little tour you take, and it tells you the history of Turkey Hill and the farms and how. And then there's things that explains like, how cows are good for the ecosystem because they eat the grass and all this different stuff. Those kinds. It's educational, fun for kids. Then there's of course there's an ice cream sampling thing. There's a tea sampling thing. But what we also did was the taste lab where you get to make your own ice cream. You get to make the flavor and try it. My mom loves ice cream. That's why I decided to do this, and it was local, so me, my girlfriend, and her went up and did that yesterday, and then it was a lot of fun. And then, of course, today the Eagles are headed to the Super Bowl. Not only did they win, they trounced the Commanders, Washington, 55-23, like crazy. So it might get loud. There were fireworks going off earlier. I haven't heard any in a while. We'll see. So, but yeah, it'll be exciting to watch either Kansas City or Buffalo beat them. Anyway,
Oh boy.
that was my week. I was busy doing a lot of stuff. I currently have 3 paintings in the works. So
Wow, you're really just rip roaring into,
yeah, I'm working on one that's going to be a birthday present for my mother because her birthday is coming up in a week and a half. Another one that's another one of those videos that I started before. I didn't like it, so I basically painted the canvas black and started over again because it's a black background on it. And then today I started one that I'm kind of excited about. It'll be my first superhero one. I'm going to do a Batman painting, so we'll see how that comes out.
Why not a Spider-Man? Too many lines
because you can cheat with Batman. He's in the shadows, and as long as you can
I
do a
see,
good
I see.
cape,
A little
do a good
pointy
Batman
thing,
cape, and
yep,
do the
yep,
pointy
yep,
ears,
yep.
and have
It's
like
Batman,
a dark
right.
sky and the bat symbol and this light in the sky. That's a Batman painting. See?
Pretty
Yeah, it could be Darkwing Duck. I mean, you never know.
Well, speaking of my bat,
from a Rorschach painting.
Yeah.
Batman.
speaking of Darkwing to my Batman, how are you doing, John? You haven't been here a while. We know you've been through some stuff, but like other than the bad stuff, anything good going on in your life?
Are you sure you want to ask me that? I just, I'm like, well,
I'm your friend. I want to know how you're doing.
Well, I got a new bread maker.
Okay.
And of course, if I'm going to get a bread maker, it's going to have a brand name that sounds like an anime protagonist's name. So it's called Zoji Rushi.
Of course.
But it's a high-end bread maker, and I have been making a lot of bread. I've been giving it out to my neighbors. I've been giving it out to my family. It's kind of fun. So other than that, just getting back into the swing of things with work and such. Cleaning up the house this weekend, trying to reapply myself to life. The last couple of months have been hard.
Yeah, I believe that. Speaking of bread, Karen just said the other day she wants to start doing sourdough. She wants to learn how to make it and start making it.
Do you want a child?
I'm sorry to hear that.
Do you want a child, Dave? Do you want another child?
I have 2 children.
I know. Do you
but
want
I don't
another
need another-
child? Because
I don't think
that's
having
what
sex
sourdough
with I said I don't think having sex with sourdough produces children, but
No. You understand? Like I dated a woman who loved sourdough, and she gave me some sourdough starter, and basically like every 2 days you have to feed the damn thing, and if you don't, like you could lose the starter forever, like it, and you just have to feed it every 2 days, and you give it more water and more flour, and then cut it in half, throw half of it away, unless you're making a new. Unless you're making a loaf, and then you have to wait like 3 days and then put, cut up enough so you can have some starter left over, and then like basically making sourdough in an oven is like trying to follow the directions for launching the space shuttle. It's just hilarious, and good luck with that.
Okay. Hey, I said she wants to do it. I didn't say
I said, yeah, and I'm saying good luck with that. And you're going to be feeding. You're going to be feeding. I'm on vacation. Can you feed it?
Nah.
Here's the directions.
I don't think that'll happen. I hope
I'm not
not.
feeding your damn weird bread baby. Leave me alone.
Yeah, you have to check it for mold spots. Make sure it's healthy.
That's gross.
Speak nicely to it.
Speak nicely to it.
Yeah, now what was it? Mood slime now? Whoa.
Well, you know, you want to pump it up so it'll rise.
Oh boy.
It's
That's what
it's
she said.
That
Okay,
feels like
never
an
mind.
inappropriate joke. I mean,
John, you were
Never
just like,
mind.
hey, hit that ping. Oh.
you know, when I make inadvertent, inappropriate jokes, you know, my mind is just not in the right place. So anyway, yeah, that's me. Hi. So yeah.
So
That's
okay. Well, then I have a question. What is the difference between a pickpocket and a peeping Tom?
I don't care.
I don't know, Dave. What is the difference?
Oh shoot!
Oh my
I
God,
forgot
you
the
can get it out.
punchline.
Oh my
The-
lord.
The pickpocket snatches your purse.
Okay,
The-
and enough of
the-
that. That's nice.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
All right. I can't remember. Oh shoot! I'm saying it wrong. That's why. Duh.
It doesn't
All right.
matter. I think I got it.
Yeah, it
You
only
got it.
adds
Yeah,
to the uncomfortability.
You know where I'm going with it. Yes. All right.
Don't
Actually,
you
no,
hate when people forget the punchlines?
Anyway, real quick, I did. You weren't here, for a while, so we had discussed a lot of different things. But I'm kind of curious, John. What did you think of the finale of Skeleton Crew? Did you get to watch it yet?
No, I did not.
Oh, okay.
I have sadness. I did not do the homework. I mean, I did the homework, just not that homework.
Oh, shoot.
Like, okay, Don, tell me, is it worth it?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Okay, then I will finish
Good.
it. If Don says it's worth it and it's Star Wars, it's worth
Dave's
it.
throwing his hands up alert here.
Yeah, no, my computer's getting weird all of a sudden. I don't know what's going on. Like, I have got the spinning thing and I can't do anything as long as
Oh,
I'm
boy.
still streaming. So while I try to figure this out, Don, maybe you can show us what the people.
Oh, okay.
Well,
Oh,
so Don,
well, what I believe he wanted to do was go ahead and take a quick commercial break here, which we'll do with my Dark Dawn thing. So here we go. So you can learn about the Geek World All-Star Podcast Network and more. Good evening, plebeians. Darth Dawn here to tell you that Superhero Speak is not just a YouTube show. It is also a website. You will go to superheroespeak.com, where you can find all the social media links to the show, comic reviews by Chris, and most importantly, our merch. You will buy our merch. And while you are on the HoloNet, you must check out the rest of the Geek World All-Star Podcast Network, an influential conglomerate of podcast shows like the Pop Prism Power Podcast, Vault 45, That's So Wizard, Fans on Patrol, Twisted Mind of 8-Bit Ray and the Gorilla Brain podcast, and of course, the powerful Superhero Speak. plug in hashtag GWAllstars, and you will not be disappointed. And if you do not comply with my request here tonight, I will torture you by making you watch The Acolyte, the one and only season, over and over again. Now, if you'll excuse me, I have a double feature to catch. They're showing Blade 2 and The Matrix Reloaded at the drive-in. Now, back to the show. Alrighty, Aphrodite, so here we are. Dave seems like he's continuing to have technical difficulties. So, but please like and subscribe to this video. I'm not going to bother doing the stuff that beats me in the head or whatnot or slashes us across the screen, but just please, what do they say? What do the kids say? Smash that like button. Oh, hey, Dave.
I had to restart my browser. I don't know what happened. Look, everyone's in the wrong spot now. Anyway,
Is not happy that we're going against it, but we will prevail.
yes. What were we saying? If you get this far, have gotten this far on the podcast, and you haven't done so yet, hit that subscribe button. Click that bell for notifications so you don't miss us when we go live here every Sunday night at 8:30 p.m. Eastern. If you like what we're doing here, then you know what? Go ahead and smash that like button. It really does help with the algorithm and gets the show out. Even more people can find us. And if you're so inclined, if you really like us, show us you like us by buying yourself a Superhero Speak t-shirt. All the kids are loving the Superhero Speak t-shirts. I hear this all the time. At least that's what I've been told. So get yourself a Superhero Speak t-shirt today. Link is in the description below. So there
And
you
I will
go.
clarify. You don't have to like all of us. You can just pick one. That's fine too.
Look.
You'll still love the
great this
merch.
t-shirt
There you
look.
go.
So
Oh, by the way, I don't have one of my clever little titles this time. I have moved off of Twix and onto Blue Sky. So if anybody
I've
wants
never
to
heard of
follow me-
that candy before. I enjoy Twix. What happened?
No, Twix, Twitter X Twitter X. Yeah.
Oh, I was not familiar with that vernacular, sir. Sorry.
Yes, well, that's what they're calling it now. They're calling it Twix. So anyway,
well,
see,
on
I am
that-
hip with the kids. And now that I've used it, they must think of something else because it is now dead.
Skibbity toilet. That'll be the next one. Skibbity
Nope.
toilet.
See, now you said it. Now it's dead. Like now they anybody over like 20 that uses any of their vernacular, it immediately dies and they must replace it.
Well, on that note, let's take a quick commercial break and come back with the news.
Some podcasts are like this.
I don't wash my hands. I don't really trust people that wash their hands because, well, one, I don't think it does anything.
And some podcasts are like this.
And let's be honest, I'm starting to think it's a scam because I have a very painful sunburn. They had no sunblock in the 1800s, but yet nobody was dying of skin cancer. So what's giving you skin cancer?
Listen, that
the
is a
sunblock or the
phenomenal
sun?
point.
But only one podcast is where you can get in-depth analysis like this.
So like Max is like searching through these fake photos of his old fight for the murder memories, and we get another flashback, and it's the same
It's the same flashback.
fucking
Nothing has changed. No information has
hammer
been added.
punch, cave in skull head explosion.
Nothing about this flashback gives us anything new.
Two rings, grab a rope.
Nothing about this is
Shadowy
important. Why are you showing why are you wasting my time showing this fucking flashback that I've already seen?
Was there a quota to show David Carradine's face like 85 times?
It had to have been.
You are now listening to Cult 45.
This is Beat 'em Down.
And I'm Random Randy Savage.
Find us on all your podcatching apps like Podbean or Spotify, and follow us on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook, or just go to www.cult45.com. Cult45podcast.com.
Also, check out our YouTube for that sweet, sweet video content.
Cult 45, the only podcast that puts hair on your chest.
We need a new one of those.
Andy hasn't sent me one in a while, so
Hmm.
hopefully he will send me one soon. I actually haven't talked to anyone in a while. Not that there's no bad blood or anything. I just haven't talked to those guys in a while, so I will have to reach out and say, "Hey, we need a new one," because we just did a commercial. We did.
Well, we did. We did Dark Dawn.
Oh, I see.
So now we have to do some news so that we can pay the bills. Oh wait,
Yes.
yes. Damn it.
No. So what would you guys say? Do you think Fantastic Four movie that's coming up, is this going to be a great movie? And do you think Marvel's going to do everything in their power to bring the Fantastic Four into the consciousness of all the peoples out there so that the movie does well?
I think that if it doesn't suck, not if it's good, but if it doesn't suck, they will have done their jobs.
Well, I feel
Considering
like
all the stuff arrayed against this.
I feel like Marvel is putting all of their eggs in the Fantastic Four basket right now because
They need Reed Richards.
there's an upcoming new miniseries from Marvel called Fantastic Four Fanfare. That here's the people working on this miniseries: Jonathan Hickman, Mark Waid, Dan Slott, Chip Zdarsky, Andrew Wheeler, J. Michael Straczynski, along with art by Alan Davis, Mike Allard, Sarah Pitchell, Roman I don't know if that Rosanas, and Mark Begley. So
and Q Doctor Strange turning you going, is that everyone?
I saw this and I'm like, they're throwing all their A-listers at this right now, at least that are currently working. So obviously they want this to do well. I don't know. And I feel like that's why they're doing it, so that to get the Fantastic Four people, comic fans talking about them again, to help the movie do successfully, which is very different than what they've done in the past when Fox was doing the movies, because they wanted them to fail. You know, they killed off, what was it, Johnny Storm right before, I believe it was the Fan Four Stick came out. And that was done so like people would not be reading Fantastic Four and this movie would fail. Like, it's an open secret, but that's what Marvel was doing for a while.
Didn't they get rid of a lot of the toys too, or the figures, or like they killed everything?
Yes.
Even the marketing.
Well, this was the time where they were killing the X-Men in the comic universe as well. They're doing the same thing and pushing the Inhumans, for sure.
That worked out great.
and it's funny too, because like we had talked about Diamond last week, and I collect the Diamond Marvel Select toys. They're the ones that I collect, and they just came out with the Fantastic Four over the last year and a half. Like, they didn't have a Fantastic Four. Now all of a sudden they have them. So it's like, yeah, Marvel's like, all right, let's push these guys, and that was, I think, the start of it. What do you think? Are you excited, Don? Like, I mean, some of your favorite writers are on this book.
Yeah, I'm excited for sure, and I'll definitely get into that. But first, I want to answer kind of your question, like, you know, are they trying to bring the Fantastic Four into the greater lexicon? Absolutely. Marvel Rivals, if you play Marvel Rivals right now, they're heavily featured. They're basically on the load screen. They're all sitting in the Fantasticar. Then, of course, we're talking about the MCU. We got Doomsday. We got Secret Wars. That's all Fantastic Four, Doctor Doom. And then, of course, the comic that I reviewed for the channel, the Ultimate Wolverine, that Ultimate Universe is all because the maker, Evil Reed Richards, has made this world where he prevented all the heroes from happening. However, mutants still happen, but mutant doesn't always equal hero. So that's the whole kind of dichotomy. Yeah, actually kind of interesting. So anywho, yes, the Fantastic Four are certainly being featured right now. Now, getting back to like all these heavy hitters on this book, I actually love this move. I actually really think that they should not come out with a comic book unless there's a story there that somebody wants to write. I know this may be like going against the grain, seeing how there's a whole industry centered around weekly releases and stuff, but like I think that's kind of killed the industry a little bit.
Yeah.
Absolutely, it's an IP farm, but you know, just we've already talked about the economy of it. The pacing of comic books, you're just not getting much in these $5 books. But again, if you save all your heavy hitters and they actually want to create these stories of A-list properties, that's the other thing. This is Fantastic Four. This is A-list. You should put all your eggs all in this basket because you've got a chance here at an Avengers level event that people like folks to give a shit about because it's a Fantastic Four. So I'm all for it. You know, absolutely. If you want people to go out and spend $5 per comic or whatever, you need to bring in the big dogs. I mean, and to the smaller people who get opportunities with Marvel, DC, and all that, that's wonderful. Believe me, Dave sat right next to me as I geeked out to Rich Duick because of Marvel stuff that he did. So, you know, not throwing any shade at anyone who's not a heavy hitter, but I know I like the move and I want to see more of it.
Yeah.
You do.
Yeah, that was still funny. We've known Rich for years and he's just a guy, but you know, to me, and then you know, you meet him and I was shocked. I didn't realize, like, yeah, I knew he wrote that stuff for Marvel, but I didn't realize, like, oh my god, you're gonna geek out.
Yeah. Yeah, that shit was awesome. It was a really good fucking idea. And he did it in one issue. Like it's a whole thing, I'm telling you. It's Rich Duick. Look him up. You know, he's awesome.
Yes. So yeah, I think I'm excited. I'm gonna definitely check this out when it comes out. I'm sure we will review it on our channel and
If it's got J. Michael Straczynski involved with it, I'll review it.
Really?
I love that guy's stuff.
Yes, I know.
That guy's been influencing my childhood since Captain Power and the Soldiers of Future in the 70s.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, and it's funny because there's another, we met him and I remember that interview and like John had 1,000 questions because of all the stuff that he's read and watched. Yeah, so I just need to bring you geeks with me. I mean, all right. Yeah, so I think we're all excited. I do think this will boost the movie, at least boost the consciousness of the Fantastic Four and hopefully the movie. We shall see. Speaking of Marvel movies, right now with pre-sales and projected sales, they are saying the Captain America 4 will be breaking 95 million opening weekend.
Is that what they're hoping?
That's what they're currently projected. And I was like I'm reading the article and the article is written like, oh yeah, this is a good thing, but that's not really a good opening weekend with Marvel movies, and it's a 4-day weekend when it opens because it's a holiday. It's I think President's Day is when it comes out, and like President's Day is Valentine's Day in that time frame. So a lot of people go to the movies over long weekends, and they're still only saying 95 million. I mean, we're definitely going to see it for the show, but what do you guys think? Is this movie going to flop or is it going to do well?
I don't have much hope for it. I just don't have much hope for it. They flubbed the series so badly that I don't know. Maybe they'll pull it out of the fire because management changed between then and now, and
True.
they were able. Feige is now able to concentrate on just the things he needs to do instead of being forced to spread himself out over 1,000 projects because because Mickey Mouse wants to make more money.
Well, Mickey Mouse always wants to make more money.
I know, but like, make money the wrong way instead of the right way, which is putting out quality product
Well,
instead
true.
of putting out a lot of product with not quality. So we'll see. Yeah, Kassan, if you bring up Kassan's, I mean, you think it has to make $1 billion to break even? Like, how much money did they put? What was the?
I know. I
what
think the current estimated
estimate.
budget was 180 million. I don't know what that's not including
And-
obviously marketing.
Well,
Well,
I know
still-
they've done reshoots as well, which
Yeah,
we constantly hear about reshoots, and we're always like making apologies for them. Like, yeah, every movie has reshoots, but every time we hear about reshoots about a Marvel thing, it doesn't go well. Not the last couple of time, not any time since we started talking about them anyway. As a matter of fact, every movie after Endgame has had multiple reshoots, and it's never boded well.
almost.
Oh wait, Kazan says over 500 million. I mean,
I
with
did not.
the
I did not.
reshoots,
Now that's funny because the article in Variety said that the estimated budget was 180. So
Kazan, we'd love to know your source for that. Now, if it is 500 million, I would like to see them give that money to the director of Godzilla -1, because what he could do with that is going to far outstrip anything Marvel can do with that money these days.
Well, that's
I
true.
mean,
That's
500
not even
million,
funny.
15 million, and one got an Oscar. But yeah, I don't hold out much hope for it. Hopefully hopefully Feige was able to take more control over it. But if it's a remnant of the last management set, then they completely already ruined Red Hulk. They didn't have to do that. They should have learned from Spider-Man in Civil War. Yeah, they could have held on to that, and it would have driven people to the theater through word of mouth. They didn't have to do Red Hulk in this. I mean, at least show it all that blatantly.
No, I do think that's when I kind of felt like they're in trouble when they were showing
Because
Red Hulk in
they're
the
showing all
trailer,
their cards to make you go
Yes.
in. Yeah.
instead of being like, "Hey, you know what? We're gonna leave some surprises for when you go see it."
Yeah.
Imagine that. So, yeah, what are you gonna do? What do you think, Don? You excited for this movie? You think it's gonna
He doesn't
do
seem
well?
excited. He's
No, I am excited because I am hopeful. I'll lay it out for you why here. Okay, Sam Wilson, the Falcon, he's not like B or C list. I still kind of consider him A, maybe not A plus, maybe not S, but
Fair.
people still care about the character. I did enjoy the show. I enjoyed the message. I thought it was actually pretty poignant. And I thought it was just overall cool to see Sam Wilson become Captain America. I know there's people that hate on that. And don't get me wrong, even the people that hate on it, they've got a couple categories. You've got those that just don't like Sam Wilson, Captain America, for various reasons, and I won't go any further than that. Then you just got people that think that Bucky Barnes should have been Captain America, which, yes, in the comics, he was Captain America first, but I don't think it makes sense in the MCU. You're saying like a former Russian agent is then going to be like, I get it, he's not a bad guy and he was forced to do all that, but just, does it really make sense though that then you're going to make him Captain America? So I've actually appreciated the journey for Sam Wilson to becoming Captain America, particularly when you think back to how him and Steve Rogers first met. And I don't know, I'm excited for the movie. I'm hopeful for the MCU to kind of come out of the funk. I don't think Red Hulk is a mistake. I actually, I know that we're talking about the leader and Red Hulk, and we say, oh, these are Hulk
Mhm.
villains, and so we kind of chide like, why are they in a Captain America movie? But it does make sense that they would establish Red Hulk if they're going to do Thunderbolts, and they are doing well. Thunderbolts asterisks, maybe Dark
Yeah.
Avengers. I don't
Maybe.
know. So but don't get me wrong. I think be ready to be disappointed. It's not going to be like all Red Hulk, Red Hulk, Red Hulk. He's probably going to be in the movie just for a couple of minutes, which for me,
Yeah.
that's okay. I mean, look at I'm a Star Wars guy. Look at Boba Fett. How much screen time did he get?
Yeah.
And in fact, most of the screen time that he got, looked like an idiot. So out of nowhere, just back in the day, everyone was like, "Oh fuck yeah, Boba Fett! He's such a badass." Like I'm like, you mean the guy that okay, but it happened nonetheless. Like I don't know, I guess it's that impressive to hide in the trash to catch Han Solo. Okay, great, all right, whatever. But point it being is you don't have to be in the movie for long to make a good impression. So I'm excited for it. I'm not saying, don't get me wrong. I don't like the whole like, oh, this is gonna be like the Winter Soldier. Like, no, don't say that shit. Don't say, just let it be. Make the fucking movie. Don't compare it to Winter Soldier, because then you're just setting it up on a pedestal, and there's plenty of internet assholes already waiting to just, drop it down a peg.
Yeah.
If you genuinely don't
saying
like
just-
it, you're not an asshole. I'm just saying.
You just
Yeah.
reminded me of years ago when I used to work for Greg at his booth at cons, and Greg has this way before the Boba Fett series. He had this piece of art. It's Boba Fett coming out of the Sarlacc pit. The Sarlacc is dead, and he's like got blood on his arm, and he's got his rifle in his hand, like he just got out of the Sarlacc pit. And I remember that that's prominent in his display, and some guy came up and went, Jar Jar Binks is a better character than Boba Fett, because he actually did
Oh,
more
boy.
in the movies than
Oh,
Boba
no.
Fett. And it was funny because like we went back and forth, and then at the end it was like, I really can't argue that. Like Jar Jar did do more than Boba Fett ever did.
Sure,
Boba
but
That's
Fett-
because Jar.
let's look at
That's because Jar
let's
Jar
look
is
at top of the list. Right. Well, let's look at top of the list. Jar Jar Binks, what did he do? Oh, help create the empire. So I mean, that's the sort of things.
True.
that,
Like I
on
said,
his
Secret
list,
Sith. Yeah.
Yeah,
But
yeah, because what
and that's funny.
Boba Fett followed Han Solo, then showed up with Vader. Vader actually then did all the work, and he delivered him to Jabba, and then he was killed very quickly at the beginning of Jedi. That's it.
Yeah,
Like that's his
done.
entire legacy.
And people geek the fuck out over him. Like, and don't get me wrong, I would hear, all the ones that read the legend stories, like I'd hear about, like, no, he escaped the Sarlacc with a thermal detonator. I'm like, oh, okay. Well, I mean, you had to tell me that.
Sure.
Okay, so Sun
Yeah.
says there's two conflicting reports. One says 180, the other says 385. Add 150 for marketing, and that's between 330 or 535. Yeah, so who knows what they spent?
We're still using Hollywood math for this.
It's
stuff,
Hollywood,
you know?
exactly.
Like
I mean, there's actually a Hollywood math. I don't know what this it's now, but years ago I had heard that apparently Empire Strikes Back still hadn't made any money on paper at that point. And this was in like 2008 or something like that. I heard this 2009 because it was Hollywood math, because they're continually marketing when they re-release it, so that goes towards the budget, and yeah, but like they don't release those numbers. So that's just to keep paying. It's to keep from paying actors residuals, but that's a whole nother story. We're not here to talk about that. All right, John. No, not John. Don, you had mentioned actors and appearing in roles and not showing up and whatnot. Well, Benedict Cumberbatch did a sit down with Variety, and there were two things that came out of this interview. One, he confirmed his reaction when he found out that RDJ was returning as Doctor Doom in Doomsday, and his exact reaction was, "What the fuck?"
Well, I mean, to be fair, that was all of our reactions, but
Yes. So that was his reaction to that. But he also revealed that Doctor Strange will not be in Doomsday, but has a big role in Secret Wars. So I found that
perfect sense.
interesting.
Makes perfect
So you think Doomsday is going to be more Fantastic Four focused, and then Secret Wars will be more everyone, Avengers and whatnot? Don, because you're the one saying it makes perfect sense.
No, I don't think Secret Wars will be a whole lot of Avengers at all. I think it'll be even more Fantastic Four. I think it's going to be a big Reed Doom thing.
Okay.
It's depending on how close they stick to the comic, but that's why I say that this makes a whole lot of sense because, Doctor Strange is absolutely heavily involved in the Secret Wars. He is basically Doom's right hand man. In fact, the only reason he is in not Doom's position was because he doesn't want to be that level of God. And Doom's like, of course, hey, all right, I'll do it. And there's a lot that
Interesting.
goes into that. Yeah, and there's a lot that goes into that. But at the same time, spoiler alert, what he did is, although he was like Doom's like right hand man, he also had plans to like fight against God Emperor Doom if need be. And so when the heroes that survived, let me know when I lose you. When the heroes that survive the universe convergences make it to Battle World and they meet up with Doctor Strange, and he's like, "Hey, I have a locked away Infinity Gauntlet with all the Infinity Gems for you if you want to go up against Doom." And that's where I'll stop there. So yeah, crazy shit, but everything going on, it just makes sense. I don't think they're going to stick to it to the letter.
Nah.
But damn, it definitely seems like they're
I don't-
sticking pretty close.
I don't think they're going to use the Infinity Gauntlet again. There'll be some other way that they, win. I do think there'll be a convergence of the universes, and that's how we get mutants and the Fantastic Four and everyone in the same universe. And we stop this multiverse stuff because, Don, you're sick of it. And, Kevin Feige listens to you all the time.
Yeah.
to be fair, Kevin Feige is probably sick of it himself. Like a lot of the stuff that came out after Endgame was under the new management, and a lot of that stuff was like, we need this, we need that, we need that. Now they had some good hits. I still love Loki. Loki was good, but there were some other parts where you're sitting there going like, but wait, didn't they just make that rule in the last show that says this can't happen, and now it's happening? Like, it started to go in too many directions, and they fumbled it hard. So we're done with that. Like, and the whole point of the convergence is we come out with a single timeline again, right? Supposedly.
That's supposedly. We'll see. But then that means
Now
Loki
has Miles Morales.
See,
Yeah,
here's the thing.
until they run out of ideas, and then it's like, well, what happens if somebody comes with multiverse?
But I also
And then
feel
we'll
like
get Superior Spider-Man. We hope.
Loki has to be a part of this, right? Because he's the one that's like weaving the multiverses right now. Spoilers for those. who didn't
Was
see
it
the end
this storyteller Loki, or what's his appellation? It's
something like that, something storyteller or something, and it's just like,
yeah.
But like they can't just ignore that and convert all the universes back to one, because then what happens to Loki? So we'll have to see. I don't know. John, what do you think? First off, I guess, and this is a question really for both of you. Are you more excited for Secret Wars or Doomsday, or is it about the same, or you really have no thought one way or the other at this point?
I personally, I'm more excited about these two new shows, movies. Secret Wars should be cool. No idea, what's in it right now, but Doom, I'm interested to see what they're doing, because again, this is under new old management or old new management. I mean, anyway, Kevin Feige is able to do what he wants now and is not being pushed. So,
You hope,
maybe
anyway.
this is what finally unifies we sweep Phase 4 under the rug, and we come up with Phase 5 starting now, and we get another arc till another Endgame like super show that everybody adores, like we do Endgame and Infinity War. I'm hoping that's what happens.
Yeah, I am personally more interested, and I wouldn't say excited. I'm more interested for Doomsday because I want to see how they explain it. Because if it's just he's Victor Von Doom and he just looks like Tony Stark, and they don't play with that, I think I might be out. To tell you the truth, because it's like you can't do that. You know, everyone's expecting this to somehow be
What
a
if it's
variant of Tony.
Yeah, what if it's a Tony Stark clone?
That would be hilarious.
I'm
would be
really
interesting.
nervous. I'm really nervous about the whole RDJ being Doom thing. So I'm really holding my breath to see how that fucking goes. I really
You're
am.
hoping it's not just a gimmick.
Yeah,
Something.
that's what
I don't
we're all
know.
hoping.
I don't know. I really John, I really don't know how they're gonna convince me that it's not just fucking stupid that he's not back as Iron Man like everybody wants. Like
Oh, that's fair. That
I
is totally
get
fair.
the Chris Evans, Captain Hydra thing if they do that, if they want to do that. I'm totally down for that. That makes super sense. But yeah, I'm not excited.
I'll tell you something. I am way more excited about James Gunn's Superman. I am dying to see that movie. I'm not dying to see, these movies, but also because they've flubbed the last 5 years
you're
of
also
movies and shows.
and you're also the DC guy.
Well,
speak.
true, but again, like Endgame and Infinity War, I can't think of a better movie set than that. Like that was like amazing. So
Yeah.
if James Gunn can do something like that, then I'm happy. But I'm way more interested in what he's doing than what Marvel's doing right now, and because Marvel's been flubbing so many things. So this is their chance to get me back.
Wait. What did you say? Marvel is what?
Because Marvel's been flubbing. This is
I don't remember asking you a goddamn thing.
Oh, hilarious. Fine. Okay.
Marvel is the best. Speaking of the DCU, though, this is an interesting one, and to me, this is something that could hurt even the James Gunn Superman movie. James Gunn has come out and clarified that both Peacemaker Season 1 and The Suicide Squad are part of the DCU, because, again, Creature Commandos is part of the DCU, and it's heavily referenced in those shows those movies and shows are heavily referenced in Creature Commandos. So tells me that this is a soft reboot of the DC universe, and I think normies are going to be like, "What the hell's going on?"
Yeah, and in the end of Peacemaker, didn't they have Aquaman and Flash, right?
Right.
And now we're gonna have completely different Aquaman and Flash.
Well, so that's the part of the Peacemaker show that he said, okay, everything but that. When I was reading the article, that's what saying, like, yeah, no, Peacemaker is totally consistent, except for that part. So forget about that.
Yeah, but it doesn't.
You didn't see them.
But that's the whole thing. It doesn't matter. If somebody watched the show and then goes to see the movies, and now all of a sudden Aquaman is Loki, they're going to be like, "What the hell's going on here?"
Yeah.
So,
dude, I'm very talk about skeptical. Like this whole DC thing is not. It's not shaping up for me. It's not, because you're basically starting on shaky ground. If you're basically saying, 95% of Peacemaker is in this universe, and so is Creature Commandos. And from what you guys told me about that series, to me, it's like, this is how the DC universe is starting. I mean, John, I hope you're right about the Superman thing, and I'm here for it. I'm not looking to be negative about it. I'm looking to enjoy it. But boy,
I am more excited about this because I went through Bruce Timm's Justice League Unlimited, and like if I get a taste of that, like you've got me, because that would be awesome.
I
Because
feel-
our whole problem has always been like with almost all of these movies and shows, the problem we keep pointing out is like, well, wait a minute. If this world-ending situation is happening, where the hell are the rest of these guys, right? And what does Gunn have in his first teaser? It's like those guys are there. You know, they're all there. He's giving us a living, breathing world, and all the heroes are around. You know, so okay,
or at
you
least
know,
some of
we
them,
can-
yeah.
Yeah, so we can if he can pull that off, then I'm willing to allow a little bit of funkiness with the timeline with the end of Peacemaker. But the Suicide Squad was good, you know, and he's already got the very same actors that did voices for Creature Commandos are going to play the live action versions, and they're perfect. So
Yeah,
James Grillo and Indira Verma, like they're perfect. Like they are those characters. So you know, I have, it seems like he's handling it well. So I have high hopes for this.
Don, what's your hang up on Creature Commandos? Asks Hassan.
They're not the X-Men.
Yeah,
Yeah, I don't have a hang up on it. I'm not
A little too dark for you, maybe?
right, exactly. I'm not a real dark dude like that. And I know I make a lot of potty jokes here on the podcast, but like I'm really not someone into just have constant like, you know, just that going on. It really is like I really do get to a point where I'm like John was like, oh, okay, come on, you know, it's kind of an easy laugh sort of shit. I don't know. So
because I can tell you, because my hang up was that James Gunn has this penchant for writing characters that act like they're all still horny teenagers instead of like, you know, older adults with wisdom and experience that would not do the stupid things that they're doing. So, you know, I don't know, like Flag shouldn't have been that dumb in Creature Commandos. I'm not saying that the whole Creature Commando series was bad. This is actually pretty good, but there is this thing of kind of a typecast for anybody that Gunn writes, you know, AKA like Guardians of the Galaxy. So, you know, and I think we've discussed in this that even he said like he can't do all of these because, you know, the tone is different for some of these characters, and he has to let other people handle those tones.
Yeah. Speaking of potty humor, the difference between a pickpocket and a peeping Tom is a pickpocket snatches your watch, a peeping Tom
Okay.
your snatch. All right,
You know,
I'm glad I got that out. All right,
doing,
on that
doing
note,
the joke a half an hour or an hour afterwards, it did
on
not
that note,
work.
while everyone will
It did not
contemplate-
work.
Everyone was going to contemplate the English language and how to make it fun. We're going to take a quick commercial break and be back with our main topic.
This is so wizard, Annie.
Broadcasting very fast and very dangerous from the planet Malistan. You are listening to So Wizard.
You're thinking, people gonna die?
The only podcast to make the Kessel run in under 12 parsecs.
No one to stop us this time.
I am your host, Joey DiCarlo, and with me, my co-hosts, the queen of all nerds, Aubrey Litchfield, and the expert, Mr. Marquis, Marcellus Ray. You are listening to So Wizard Podcast, where three friends review movies, TV, and sometimes more, podcasting weekly on the Geek World All-Stars Podcast Network. Marcellus Reagans, please tell the listeners where they can find more So Wizard Podcast.
Everybody, you can head on over to SoulWizardPodcast.com, and there you're going to find a brand new episode every week. Find Soul Wizard on all podcasting streaming platforms such as iTunes, Spotify, Good Pods, and pretty much wherever you can find a podcast. Check out our YouTube page, where new content is being uploaded regularly. We also have a Patreon page. For as little as $1 a month, you can receive exclusive bonus content while you're supporting the show.
No, I didn't. First of all, a podcast takes a lot of work, okay? You have to organize the guests, you have to do a Google Calendar, and then you build a following. It takes a long time, and I've been working on it for a while.
I still want to know why Aubrey's image in that commercial doesn't have any arms or legs. I don't know if that was something that Randy, who put the commercial together, is trying to say about Aubrey or not. Anyway, so we discussed Absolute Batman #1 on this show. We had JD back for that episode, and that was a lot of fun. And then we followed that up with Absolute Superman, which I was about. Don loved it. And now we're following up that conversation with Absolute Wonder Woman, which begs the question, how do you take the most badass super heroine in comics and make her more badass? So, or answers the question, not begs it. Let's go around the room. We all read at least issue #1. What's your initial thoughts on this? Let's try to keep it a little spoiler free. John, you are our DC resident expert. What did you think?
Wonder Woman BOP. like they've given her, I like it. They've given her a lot more power though. And it's going to be interesting to see where they take it. But it kind of makes sense. They've changed her origin a bit, but I actually like where. Yeah, I know, but I like where this is going. I really do.
Okay, Don.
Yeah, I think that they did change the origin, but I thought that one thing that was clever about what they did is I think they maintained the essence of Diana. I think that still shined through, which I liked. When as far as saying she's OP, she's badass. I'm not trying to spoil anything here, but it's like, it's the first time you see her, she looks like the Dark Knight Cecil Harvey from Final Fantasy IV wielding Cloud Strife's, Buster Sword, out of nowhere. And then the only complaint I have about that part is as soon as she arrives on this battlefield, she takes off her helmet, put some blood on her face from the creatures that she, they're really trying to say that she's badass here with that. But I was like, why she gotta take the helmet off though? I know what they're doing here. I get it. It's the reason why people in movies and actors should wear helmets, but they don't, like Game of Thrones and shit, because they're actors and their face wants to be seen. But some of the premise I have a little bit of a problem with. Nitpicks here or there, just kind of knowing the author. I kind of looked at her past work and I was like, okay, I'm noticing a little bit of a trend here. So I wonder if this kind of shows up. And it did a little bit, not too much, but it did a little bit. So I'm okay with it. It's definitely, to me, the weaker of the three entries, I'd say, between the Absolute Batman, Superman, and now Wonder Woman. Yeah, so that's where I'll put it. It's certainly not bad, but I didn't feel this one as much as the Batman or Superman.
That's interesting.
That is very interesting. So before I give my opinion, I also wanted to point out. So it's written by Kelly Thompson and it's art by Hayden Sherman. So wanted to make sure I said that before we move any further on this. I don't know any of Thompson's other work, so I can't comment on it.
It's all female centric, I'd say. A-Force, Captain Marvel, and again, I'm not here to say any of that's bad. I'm not. Kate Bishop, Hawkeye. I mean, she's
I'm
you know,
saying
definitely.
she's a woman writing a female superhero. It kind of makes sense.
Absolutely. Agreed.
I was actually gonna say it's funny because Absolute Batman was a real change from what we're used to with Batman, and it was like, okay, it was an interesting take, right? Like I enjoyed it. Superman for me, which is weird, I felt departed too much from the character that we know, too much of the true nature of Superman. On the other hand, I've only read a handful of Wonder Woman stories, but the ones that I've read, I felt like they kept the spirit of Diana and Wonder Woman, and it's like I felt like it was the same idea. You know, she's this warrior princess who's an Amazonian who also has like, you know, this pure heart that people are attracted to, and she's an entity of love, and I felt like that shined through in the story, especially with the story of her and Cersei and how she raises her and all of that. Like
It's a lot closer to what she is than the New 52 one was.
I didn't read any of the Wonder Woman stories in the New 52. The only New 52 stuff I read was Court of Owls, because it was still the continuation of what was going on in Batman before New 52 launched. So it didn't like it was still Batman. Anyway, so yeah, like I had to say, like, story wise, I really enjoyed it. I liked the direction they were going. However, that being said, what did you guys think of the art in this book?
I think it's okay. With the comics that I've reviewed and read, you know, my personal preference is I like it to almost look like a cartoon, you know, like the comic books. Like if you saw like a DC or Marvel cartoon, you know, like I like it to look like that. But I know that there are different styles, different stylized, you know, people that really use shading to do a lot of stuff. That I was like, I'd like a little bit more detail. I don't have to shade everything. But you know, this reminds me, and John, you may know the technical term, but like sometimes in anime when they do a fight scene, they like switch the animation type as they're doing all this fast action shit. Okay, it reminds me of that. It reminded me of that a little bit.
Okay.
Which, I mean, she was fucking fighting a lot and stuff. So I mean, I'm not saying it doesn't make sense, but yeah, that's what it reminded me of.
Look, I'm not trying to disparage Hayden Sherman. I don't know any of her work other than this book, but I felt it was inconsistent throughout. Like some of the panels were beautiful and really well done, and some felt like they were thrown together last minute, and it was just like, I don't know how this got past the editors at DC, like where they didn't at least say to the inker, punch this up a little bit, you know. And there were some panels too hard to kind of digest with the eyes, and that's why it kind of felt like that animation style to me, where they're kind of like blurring the action a little bit to save money, you know, whatever they do. But it kind of felt like that a little bit to me, where like some of the panels like didn't quite make sense, and it's like, yeah, I don't know why you put that in there then. Yeah, and like I said, normally once an inker gets something like that, they're told to like, you know, fix the little flubs and punch it up a little bit. And I feel like they didn't do that in this book, and it was like, why, you know? So I don't know. What did you think, John, of the art?
I mean, they are going. The art styles that they're using in these new books is they're branching out.
Yeah,
and it's interesting. I use the word interesting too much. I like it. I mean, it's not. It's different, and it's still very expressive and very descriptive of the action that's going on. And at no point does it take you out of the story where you're like, oh, that looks bad. So
no,
that means I find it's great, you know.
No, I wouldn't say it takes you out of the story. I thought the sword was ridiculous.
That's what I'm
but-
saying. It doesn't do that at any point, which means that it's, well worth it.
I do think the sword is ridiculous. I thought Cloud's sword in Final Fantasy VII was ridiculous as well.
No, Buster Swords are cool, and you take that back.
No. And I'm sorry.
Giant swords are awesome.
Look, and
Guts,
hold on.
Guts disagrees with you.
Hold on. And Rich, if you're watching, because I know you sometimes do, yes, even the Wailing Blade sword is ridiculous. I'm sorry. Those giant square swords are ridiculous. They really are. And it was just like, okay. But
Don't
again,
ever watch Naruto, Dave. The Seven Swordmen of the Mist will probably have you feeling some sort of way.
And I get it, and I get what you're saying, John. They are branching out, and they're doing some different stuff. I thought it was weird. Again, it's not bad, and it's not so bad that it takes you out. It just felt inconsistent. Like there's some of the panels I'm looking like, wow, that's really beautiful and really well done. And then I see another panel, I'm like, I feel that looks like, oh, I need to get something here, and like 5 minutes scribbled something, and it was just like, it's I guess it's frustrating when you see an artist like this who is really good and has some really great panels, but the whole book isn't that way, So I guess that's my only real critique of this book,
See, I don't know. The art is very detailed, and I think it's damn good, really.
What did you think of her look in this? It's kind of Wonder Woman and thrown in like she's got all these like blood tattoos, I guess, red tattoos all over her body, and she's got the orange and black tiger stripe pants on. It was just like
when you're okay, we're into spoilers a bit.
Yeah,
when
we're in spoilers.
When you're brought up by Cersei in hell, could have been worse.
Yeah. Well,
and if you get to the third the third issue, it does get worse. But I've read the 3 by the way.
Oh, okay. All right. I currently don't have Kindle on my iPad, so I haven't. I was going to buy the other issues and read them, but I didn't get that far. So yeah, what did you think of the outfit, Don? You gonna have your wife dress up like that tonight?
Yeah, that would be great. No, I thought it deviated too much from the actual Wonder Woman. I mean, I get it. She's brought up in hell by Cersei, which that was actually kind of amusing. I don't get the whole like Apollo, oh, don't say Amazon or we'll slap you around or whatever. Like, I don't get that. I'm going to need more context because I'm just not there yet with their setup of this story.
Yeah. Well, that's what I'm wondering too. Again, that's why I wanted to read a couple more, because I feel like there's something going on with the Amazons that they're keeping from Diana, and because she says she's the last of the Amazons, I have a feeling, and John, don't spoil it for us, because I do plan to keep reading, that they're not actually dead, and they're trying to keep her from the Amazons. But I kind of felt like once she figured out the word Amazon, like all of a sudden she was going to be imbued with like her powers, that we're used to from the comics. But no, she just said the word. I'm like, oh, okay. So like, they made such a big deal about it early in the story, and then all of a sudden it was like, I'm an Amazon. Okay. And
well,
Cersei
the big
still couldn't
deal.
say it.
Well, no, she did say it, right? Didn't Cersei say it?
It's still scribbled out when she says it, though.
Either way, though, I think the big deal is, though, like, Cersei's going to go bye-bye, isn't she? Like, now that she said that, like, she was told, don't fucking say this word. Like, that I don't know, that's the impression I got. Maybe I need to read through it again. But I got the impression that with Cersei bringing up the whole Amazon thing, her and Diana were going to get separated in some way, form, and she's kind of on her own at that point.
John's got a look on his face like, yeah, I know, and I'm not going to tell you.
Well, I like the storyline. Like, Don said that he thinks this is the weakest entry. I actually think that the Batman one was kind of the weakest entry.
See, I think I need more context. I think Batman was the strongest. Wonder Woman is like up there with it, but I like the Batman.
And Superman's
better.
the weakest. This
And
is we got a
Superman's the
perfect
weakest.
triumvirate here.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah. So
Uh,
a little
but
something for
there's-
everyone.
Yeah, I mean, there's definitely good writing in here for me. Like I like you're talking about Cersei. Like when Apollo dropped the baby off to Cersei, Cersei's like, you know, what,
I'm Cersei. Have you seen me?
Yeah, they're just gonna come after you anyway. So let me just set you down and let these like demons come gobble you up. But they couldn't.
You know what? It was funny because that bothered me at first, but then when I realized where they were going with that, where she becomes Diana's mother and is raising her, and like
you see the progression of their living quarters.
Yes, you see that was beautiful. That was so well
Yeah.
done. Like the progression of a mother's love for a child that wasn't even her own child, but she becomes her mother. Like, yeah, like that's your story. That's your hook right there. So yeah, that, like I said, the story is really well told in this issue, and it really hooks you and like gets you to want to read more.
Yeah. I mean, I guess there's just little things that bug me, and I don't even know if they should. Like her steed is like a skeleton horse. I'm like, oh, Ghost Rider. The old Ghost Rider wants his horseback. I know that's dumb, but
well, it's
I
an
don't know,
interesting choice too, because modern Wonder Woman can fly, right?
Yeah.
Like that's one of her powers, but this Wonder Woman can't fly, and instead of having a regular Pegasus, since she's from hell, she has a skeleton Pegasus. It's like I get it. It's a little, it's how do you make Wonder Woman more badass? Like that was the question she tried to answer in this comic, and I think she did it.
Yeah, the amount of power she has now is like, she's always kind of been a kind of a rival. She could rival Superman in certain ways.
Yes.
But in this, she could kick his ass. She could kick normal Superman's ass, but the new one, I'm not so sure, because we don't know what his weaknesses are anymore.
So that's an interesting point too, because like not only, I mean, they didn't in the first issue. Maybe this is expanded more in the other issues, but they don't really show her as super strong as they haven't, as you normally see Wonder Woman. But she now has magic, and she's very powerful with the magic because she was raised by Cersei, who taught her all of this. So it's like, yeah. So if she's also strong on top of that, like, yeah, she's the most powerful character so far in this universe, in this version of DC universe. She's more powerful than Superman. That's without a doubt. Because we don't even know if our new Superman in the Absolutes is vulnerable to magic like he is in the regular DC universe. So if he is, she could easily beat him. So food for thought, people. Food for thought. Well, we know John continued on reading. Don, are you going to continue with this series?
I don't know. Are we going to talk about it some more? Like, I don't know.
I don't know. Maybe I'll do a review on it at some point on the channel if I don't have something to read. Maybe I'll continue on with issue 2. I do have a couple things to read. I got Space Ghost from David Pepose that I'm going to try to do for this week. So,
oh, nice.
You know what would make me read it, Dave? Because I actually do have access to the next 3 issues, so up to issue number 4. If DC wants me to review it, I would absolutely continue on and then review number 5. So, at Superhero Speak, I don't know, whatever your email is there, Dave, or get a hold of Dave Markowski.
Well, I'm pretty sure you've got Don at Superhero Speak set up, and it forwards to your Hotmail. So there you go. Like, if you want Don to review your book, you can also send it to reviews@superheroespeak.com, and I will forward that on to Don as well. So if anyone at DC Proper is watching right now, Don wants to review your books and ruin your day. So
I'll keep reading them. I'm interested now. Like, this has been a while since I've been really interested in any kind of comic book, and these are kind of spurring me on a bit.
I agree. I think it's funny because when they rebooted, I mean, come on, DC has rebooted their universes many times. And like the New 52 was a flop because they just like totally threw out anything you liked about the character, but yet still tried to tell the same story in the modern world, and it just didn't work. Especially Superman was terrible. He was in blue jeans and Doc Martens and like breaking guys' legs. It was like, that's not Superman. Like what am I reading here? This, they launched it as like the Ultimate Universe kind of launched with Marvel, where we're doing this in parallel. We're keeping the regular DC stuff going, but here's a new universe, new origins, and like again, Batman and Wonder Woman, they definitely kept the spirit of the characters. I feel like, or at least they told them new and interesting ways. Superman, I don't know. I'm still. Maybe I'll read issue 2 and see if it gets any better. But yeah, so like, I think it's. You're right, John. Like this is something new and different that is kind of getting me excited about comics again, especially DC Comics. I haven't been excited about DC Comics in a long time.
and you're right. They have managed to keep the spirit of all of them, which is actually pretty good. It means that somebody's steering the ship, because like all three of them, they still feel like it's them, even if their power set has changed and their circumstances have changed. Superman's still trying to help people. Wonder Woman is still a warrior and a scholar, and Batman is still trying to bring justice. So.
And I haven't looked at the other, because they're the only 3 titles I see under Absolute right now. I assume this is leading to Absolute Justice League at some point.
I think it was in issue number 1 of Wonder Woman where she said other heroes are coming.
I'm pretty sure they're slated for Green Lantern.
Yeah.
Now, that would be interesting to see how they redo his story.
Well, it's funny because here's the thing. I think Green Lantern and Flash, you can easily redo their stories because multiple characters have been Flash and Green Lantern. So we've had multiple origins already for them. So people are more willing to be like, oh, here's a new take on Hal Jordan. And oh, here's a new take on Barry or not Barry, Wally, whichever one they decide to use. I'm sure it'll be Barry. He's the most popular. But like, yeah, so I think you're quickly going to accept faster than Wonder Woman, who's been consistent, Diana the whole time. Clark and Superman have been the same the whole time, and Batman and Bruce Wayne have been the same the whole time. So heck, they've tried to replace them in the comics and it's never worked. But I don't think they've ever tried to replace Wonder Woman. I could be wrong on that one, but like, they broke Batman's back and they gave us Azrael, and everyone was like, nah,
Yeah.
that doesn't work for me.
Angry Batman.
I don't like pointy armor Batman.
Yeah, exactly.
even when they like, and granted, there's a fun twist when they had the Batman was lost in time storyline. So Dick takes over as Batman and he's got Damian as Robin, and like there's a fun dichotomy where now Batman's the more upbeat one and Robin's the more like, justice, we've got to do this and like kill them and all this stuff. And like, so you've got Dick trying to keep Damian in line. So like that was a fun take on it, but it didn't last. Like people still wanted Bruce to come back and be Batman, so and then of course we had the death of Superman. We got 4 weird versions. I don't think they ever planned to replace him with any of them, but I felt like that's what they were trying to do at one point.
Well, a couple of them were straight evil, I'm pretty sure.
The Eradicator, and the Cyborg were both evil. So, and then Steel, he did continue on, and then
Steel was like the de facto replacement.
Yeah, and then you had the clone that was Superboy. You know, he was a new take basically on Superboy, which I don't know.
Only Steel got his own movie.
No, God. Yeah.
Way before he should have. Like, that was the weirdest choice of all the like properties.
We've
And
hardly seen Martian Manhunter in a movie, but got a whole
I
one for
feel
Steel.
like I feel like that was one of the things where it was like DC needed a couple of bucks. I don't remember who made it because it's not a Warner Brothers movie. It's another company made it. It's probably a subsidiary of Warner Brothers, but still, it was like what character don't we care about? Oh, Steel, yeah, here you can have Steel. Make a Steel movie, you know. And
Yeah, no, that was back in the day when like Shaquille O'Neal was like the greatest thing since sliced bread, and he's a big Superman guy, and he kind of made that happen. That's
yeah,
how that came.
Don't you make fun of the Shaq?
I know, but I'm just saying that's like if the Ryan Reynolds Deadpool thing had gone wrong. That's what happened there.
Did I ever tell you the story, Don? I told it on the podcast many years ago. We went to see Karen and I went to see Music Man on Broadway to see Hugh Jackman in the Music Man. Like, great night. And when we were walking back to our hotel after the seeing the musical, Shaq was just standing in front of a hotel in New York talking to a bunch of kids and just like being friendly and having a good time with them. And I'm like, that's why I like the guy. Like,
yeah, no, he's a good dude.
Yeah, you can tell he's a genuine guy. So yeah. And you know, you gotta get your Shaq-a-roni at Papa John's. Anyway. Back to Wonder Woman. So yeah, I don't have much more to say. Like I said, I really enjoyed the story. It's really well written. Like I said, the art is really good. Just a little bit of I felt was a little inconsistent, but I'm sure that'll also get better over time. We'll see. And yeah. So what do you guys have anything else you want to add about this, or do you want to like wrap this up and give it a rating?
Go with wrap.
All right.
Yeah.
So John, you can go first.
I recommend this. Rating a comic seems weird to me for some reason right now. But I don't know. I give it an 8 or 8.5. I'm really liking where it's going, but that's because I'm already on issue 3. So
okay.
But I'm liking where it's going.
All right, Donnie boy.
I mean, I gotta appreciate the way they show Wonder Woman fighting. It's fervent as a flame, but there are some things about it that I'm like, I'm not quite used to yet. Maybe I need more context. So for me, I'm landing at 7 capes out of 10. Overall quality just hasn't quite gripped me. So 7 out of 10 capes here.
All right. I think I'm right in the middle of the two of you, so I will say 7.5 out of 10 capes. The story is really good. I didn't like it as much as the Batman book, but I still like it better than Superman. And I will continue to read this one. So yeah, I guess we're all recommending it too. Like, go check it out and let us know what you think of the book in the comments down below. We would really appreciate it. All right, that is it, guys. We can bring this one in for landing. So let's go around the room and tell me, gentlemen, did you learn anything this week, or do you have any recommendations? And Don, you can go first.
What I learned this week is that the Kansas City Chiefs are once again going to the Super Bowl. So that'll be the Eagles versus the Kansas City Chiefs.
Again.
That'll be Andy Reid versus old team again. Yeah. So here we go for that. Recommendations. I recommend that you go to our fantastical YouTube channel where we've got some comic book review shorts for you, and just friendly competition. I'm hoping mine outviews Dave's, but so far he's got me. So give me a little help there. Maybe you can make me popular, and hey.
Nice.
You're getting good at this, Don. You're getting good.
Well, okay. What was funny, Dave, is I told my wife, I'm like, I'm gonna start dropping some Wicked song lines and see if Dave and you and my first one you actually took from me at the beginning of the show. I mean, I came around and did it at the end, but you stole a little thunder there. But hey, good on you.
All right, John.
Recommendations. I'm so season 3 of Blue Exorcist came out. I rewatched season 1 and 2, and they're better than I remember, which is unusual. Usually things I rewatch are not as great as I thought. I thought they were at the time, but so Blue Exorcist, and then season 3 is made up of 3 different arcs, which is, man, the writing just got better. So anime, Blue Exorcist on Crunchyroll, and if you want to laugh, then Love After World Domination, which is just hilarious. It's when the leader of the Super Sentai team, the Red Ranger, basically falls in love with one of the lead princess villains, and then they have to work out how they're dating while their teams are fighting.
Like a Romeo and Juliet type story?
Kind of, but hilarious.
All right. I learned that Don is a very closeted Wicked fan. Must be his favorite movie of 2024. He just doesn't want to admit to it.
Kasan has a recommendation too, by the way.
Yes, yeah, I saw that. I put it up. He said, a recommendation, CB Strike on Max for great writing and character development. It's a BBC detective series. So maybe I will check that out. I recommend that you go to our website, superheroespeak.com, where you can find the podcast every week. Links to all our social media at the top of the page. Comic reviews, because I'm going to start putting the video reviews on the website as well. So look for that coming probably tomorrow, and so much more. And also, if you have gotten this far in the show and you haven't done so yet, please click that subscribe button, click that bell for notifications, so you don't miss us when we go live here Sunday nights at 8:30. Plus, you don't miss any of our upcoming great content, like the comic book reviews that are available. Look for the comic review playlist and check it out. If you like what we're doing here, smash that like button. It really does help with the algorithm, gets the show out there even more, so more people can find us, and we would really greatly appreciate it. And then finally, if you're so inclined, check out our merch store. Link is in the description below. Buy yourself a Superhero Speak t-shirt today. They are the greatest t-shirts on the internet. That is what everyone is saying, or at least that's what I've heard. All right. Also, recommendation. I don't really have any. I was going to watch a movie and did not get a chance to do so today. I'm going to watch it. I'll see if I can recommend it next week. I'm excited to watch it. It's called Midas Man. It's about the story of Brian Epstein, who is the guy who discovered and was the Beatles manager. So I'm a big Beatles fan, so I want to go watch that. Other than that, I got nothing. That is it. I don't know what we're talking about next week. The week after that, we've got Captain America. So, I'm open to suggestions. Let me know, guys, if you come up with anything. On that note, boys and girls, as always, thanks for watching. Don't let your cape get caught in the door. See you next week.
Superhero Speak!